world ranked, undefeated, ranked number 7 by the WBO, number 6 by the WBA at 130 pounds. Abraham Supernova. What's up, Abraham?
What's going on? How's everything?
Everything is good. Obviously, what have you been up to? I've been asking a lot of the fighters, obviously with all the time off because of the coronavirus and things getting shut down. What'd you do to keep yourself occupied? For the last few months.
I bought a house. I got a puppy. I've been training my dog. I've been fixing around the house. And there's some little bit of training, but a lot of it went into real estate, into buying my property and staying active as much as I can.
And obviously next Thursday night you get back in the ring taking on Philadelphian Avery Sparrow, fight that can be seen live on ESPN. One of their cards that they've been doing. They're about 3 cards into their summer series. When did you say a little bit of training? When did you really start kicking it back into full gear training?
Once I saw on ESPN, and my manager David McWater and Tim Newhouse told me that boxing is going to be back, so start moving around and getting loose. So I would say probably like around May 1st, May 3rd, around that time I started getting back in the gym and getting busy.
Originally, you were supposed to fight Toka Clary, but he pulled out. Did you have to kind of change up a little with the opponent change?
Yeah, I went from a southpaw to a righty, so we had already 3 sparring partners in here that were southpaws to help me get ready. So we had to change up my whole training camp a bit to get ready for Avery Sparrow, who's a little bit different style. He's more more elusive, and he's a righty as well.
How much, for lack of a better term, how much of a pain in the ass is that? Having to switch everything.
It's a pain, but as fighters, we gotta adjust and adapt. So we make it work.
With everything going on now, we talked right before we went on the air here about the 130-pound division, especially on the top-ranked side of the street. We mentioned names like Bert Schelt, Shakur Stevenson looks like he's going to move up. Valdez is going to fight Jason Velez now. Andrew Concio, Eric De Leon. There's a lot of action. I'm trying to think if I forgot anyone. There's a lot of action on the top-ranked side at 130 pounds. What are your thoughts on that? And Jamel Herring, that's the one I forgot, the WBO champion.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited that there's going to be a lot of good competition. It's a lot of good fighters. Especially having top-ranked, having 2 champions. It'll be a lot easier for them to make that fight, so I can fight for that world title, knowing that I'm ranked number 7 by the WBO. So I'll soon will get a title opportunity against Jamal Herring. But I'm excited that Top Rank has a good stable team at 130 pounds that I could eventually fight and eventually get that world title from one of these fighters.
Gotcha. You've had a couple fights now with Top Rank. How much, being with Top Rank, how much has that already added to your confidence, knowing that you have one of the biggest promotional, if not the biggest promotional outlet in the world, behind you?
It built my confidence a lot, knowing that I have a good team, a good system behind me that's backing me up and guiding me the right way to fight for a world title and putting the right fight so I could fight for the world title. So I'm really excited. I'm very happy that I got this big company behind me and that they have plans already for me to fight for that world title.
I mean, it sounds like you said they had plans for you. I mean, do you know that? Have they talked to you? Say, you win this fight, you look good on next Thursday night, and the next fight will be a world title. Is that something that's kind of been told to you, or you don't know yet?
Yes, stuff like that has been spoken to me. They're telling me that this year, if everything goes well, as in my fight game, I should fight for a world title at the beginning of next year. So. They've been talking about it. They know that I'm in line for it, and I'm excited to go and get those titles.
You're from Albany, New York, and you're training in Massachusetts. Talk about that. I mean, how far? That's probably a few hours away from your home. Talk about that in terms of going over to Massachusetts and train.
It's a good way to get out and get focused through my training camp and get ready for my fight day. So it's a great way to come get out my comfort zone and prepare for these big fights and get ready and having the stable team that I have of these fighters, getting that good sparring and getting ready for that fight.
Knowing that Top Rank and the series that Top Rank is running from the MGM is pretty much the only game in town in terms of boxing, how important is it for you to really make a statement, have everyone on Friday morning, when they're sitting around talking about the fights in the previous night, say, man, that Nova, he looked really good last night. How important is that to you?
That's very important because that's going to establish my career. We're not gonna have we us as fighters, we don't have a career without the fans. So we have to please the fans and let them know how good we are, and for them to want us fight and have some big fights coming soon.
We mentioned the 130-pound division before. We mentioned all the fighters at Top Rank. Also, Joseph Diaz and Tevin Farmer. They're going at it on Twitter again, trying to. I don't know if there's a mandatory rematch, but did you look at all the other fighters in the 130-pound division?
Of course. I have my eye out on the 126 pounders, even the 122 pounders that can move up, even the 135 that come down. Even the other fighters that are across the street, as in the zone, Golden Boy. I keep my eyes on every fighter just so I could be ready and know who's gonna come next.
Well, I know you're not looking past Avery Sparrow, but since you are looking, you do look at all the fighters. Break it down. Give me who you think, beside yourself, obviously, are the best fighters in or around the 130-pound division.
The best fighters in the 130-pound division?
Yeah, beside yourself, obviously.
Oh yeah. I consider myself the best, but you got to give it to the champions. You got to give it to Miguel Berchelt. He's been defending his title for how long?
Mm-hmm.
Six, 7 defenses. You also got to give it to Jamar Herring. He's also been defending his title for a very long time. The champion, Leo Santa Cruz, he's a champion, so you got to give him his respect. He's a champion at 30 pounds, and Joseph Diaz, who he went through a tough time. He got an L, but he came back and was able to beat Tevin Farmer, who was a good champion, and beat him and take his title from him. So I consider those the best right now because they are the champions, and that's for a reason.
You mentioned Jamel Herring. Should that fight happen, he's from Long Island, you're from Albany. Be a pretty big thing. 2 New Yorkers going out for world titles. Is that something that you've thought about?
Yeah, that's something real good. It will be a big fight. It will draw a lot of attention. He's from New York. I'm from New York. He's a military base. He's from the Army, I believe. So it will be a good fight. A lot of tension. A lot of it'll be a good follow up on that fight, and it'll be fireworks. So if that fight, which I believe it will happen, I'm very excited for it.
Let's talk a little bit about yourself. Obviously, I know you had a very distinguished amateur career. Talk about, what got you into boxing? When did you start boxing? What age? What made you want to go to the gym?
Well, I started boxing at the age of 12. What got me into commit to boxing, like boxing, is it was mostly because it was an individual sport. It was a one-on-one sport, unlike basketball and football and baseball. I didn't really have to rely on a team. So boxing was a sport that I had to struggle, and it was very I don't want to say complicated, but it was very challenging, and it made me grind and stick to it and pick that sport as my mandatory sport.
Terrific. And then I know you had a big amateur career. You turned pro, and then I guess it was about a year ago, I believe, or maybe even a little less than a year ago, you signed with Dave McWhorter and Split T Management. We talked about you being with Top Rank, but Dave McWhorter and Split T, that's the premier management company. Him and Tim Van Newhouse and the rest of the guys with Split T. Talk about being that. Yeah, you have a real solid base behind you.
Yes, signing with Split T Management, they was able to, get me signed with the big promotions, get me with Top Rank and also give me these good fights. So Split T, they do a wonderful job scouting fighters, getting the right fighters, and then also them getting them the right fights in the right companies to perform at their best in that big platform.
Have you thought about, obviously, next week you're going to be fighting kind of with no fans, and is that something that you've thought about? And I mean, how's that going to play out for you?
Yeah, I actually thought about it a lot. I actually, when I'm watching these fights on ESPN Tuesday night and Thursday nights, I'm visualizing myself. How am I going to do in here with no fans? So I try to put myself in their position so I could get ready beforehand. So when I get there, it's not something.
I believe we may have lost him. I think he may be working on off of, I don't know how his Wi-Fi is. Let's give it a minute here.
Yeah.
There you go. We got you back, I think, Abraham.
All right. Good.
So talk about with the no fans.
Yeah, the no fans. I've been watching fights on ESPN Tuesday and Thursday nights, and I've been trying to visualize myself, walking in, having no fans and fighting, so I could get mentally prepared. So by the time I get there, I already have that type of experience that I was there already. So I feel like it's gonna be like mostly not. I don't want to say a sparring match, but it's gonna be something like it where it's gonna be you and your coach. It gets fighting. So I feel like once I start throwing and I start getting my rhythm, I'm not gonna really worry about the fans, and I'm gonna really worry about just winning and getting the job done.
What do you want to say in final thought before we let you go?
Final thoughts to everyone. I'm a young upcoming fighter. A lot of people don't know me, but I'll tell y'all, you're gonna be in for a treat on Thursday, June 25th. So tune in on ESPN and check me out. I have a lot of skills. I have a lot of power. I'm very excited, and you don't want to miss it.
And where can we find you on social media?
Social media, you can find me on Facebook at Supernova TV. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Abraham Nova 22.
There you have it. Next Thursday night, June 25th, live on ESPN. Abraham Nova taking on Avery Sparrow. Should be a good fight, and it's got a lot of big implications for Abraham. Abraham, thank you so much for a few minutes of your time, and best of luck, and we'll see you Thursday night.
Thank you.